Total Recall, Terminator 2, Cloverfield, Jurassic Park, Tron, Dread, Inception, Interstellar, Ghostbusters. These are all movies that are not our top 10 best sci-fis.
Somehow, I don't know how it happened.
I don't. I really don't know either. It's.
I'm
shocking.
blaming you, JD.
Why are you blaming me?
You assumed movies would be on other people's lists, so you didn't put them on your list.
And guess what, guys? They were. I picked like 4 movies, and I'm like, you know what? No. They're gonna be on everyone else's list. I'm gonna come in.
Boy, were you wrong.
I mean, I wasn't too wrong. I mean, someone had Ex Machina. Everyone had Alien. Everyone had.
Star Wars?
No one had Children of Men, which was shocking to me.
I
thought that was going to be Michael's number 1, but
no, it's fallen out of favor in the past.
I'm sorry that I listened to my heart. It's the same heart that told me Parasite would win Best Picture, so it hasn't steered me wrong yet.
I will tell you, audience members, people that are watching this movie or this list, you're gonna be surprised at some stuff on here.
I'm shocked too.
It's a little weird.
There's at least one where you're going to be like, and Zach will explain himself.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry.
So at number 10, we have Snowpiercer.
That was my pick.
Yep.
And I don't think I have to defend this one. I mean, this movie, speaking of Parasite, Bong Joon-ho, it's Chris Evans. He has a shaved head. He's a poor dude on a train, and he's trying to make his way to the front. And as he goes, it's got all these like different levels of. It's pretty much like the economy. It's like you're going from lower class all the way to upper class. And man, it is just awesome. I remember like I had no idea what this movie was about. I bought it at Best Buy, like to be like, that looks interesting. And man, I was blown away. This is like sci-fi. Great sci-fi like says something, and this is definitely like a class like warfare kind of thing, but also it deals with things like the necessity for those things too, and so it just makes you think, and it's got a ton of action in it. It's got a lot of cool like camera movements. It's really creative for only taking place in a train.
Okay, Zach, here you go.
Here it is.
Number 9, Wall-E. What?
Why? How is it this high, too? Not only is it on the list, it still somehow didn't make the bottom of the list.
That's how great Wall-E is. It's an enigma. First of all, JD, you said you haven't seen this. Michael, have you seen it?
I've seen it. It's good.
Okay. So this movie, like everyone talks about how great Up is, like the first 15 minutes of Up. Take that and then make it an hour where it's no dialogue for the first like hour. This is a children's movie. Punch in so many messages and metaphors about capitalism, about global warming, about consumerism in a children's movie. And it's well done. The whole point of sci-fi is to say a message with like, look how crazy this world is. This is what happens if we go too far. This is that meant for 3-year-olds. And it does it well. If you haven't seen it, it's about a little trash robot on this planet called Earth that is completely abandoned. It's all just dirt and trash. And he literally just picks up the trash. And it's him navigating this barren wasteland for an hour by himself. And it eventually transforms into a love story, and then turns into what Americans would be if we get stuck on phones. And this was 2008, arguably the best Pixar movie. It's great.
Whoa. That's a conversation for another day, because honestly, I don't know if I can handle that right now. Man. And you know what? Again, I haven't seen it, but I'd probably put it more as a love movie than a sci-fi movie. I never hear people talk about Wall-E as a sci-fi. I always hear people talk about Wall-E as a romance. I guess, yeah.
Number 8 is The Fly, which, speaking of going too far, this is like, it's like a, what is the word I'm looking for?
Body horror?
No. Well, it is body horror, but it's a cautionary tale of science going too far. This is a remake of a movie from like the 50s, and that one is kind of corny. And so they redid it in the 80s, David
Yeah.
Cronenberg, and he just made it gross and grimy. Jeff Goldblum is just an amazing actor. Gina Davis, just can't get any better. I watch this. This is crazy because like when I was 10 years old, I saw this movie and I fell in love with it. And I would watch it over and over. And when he would vomit out and like eat the donut or whatever, I was just like, that's awesome.
This is what I want to do.
Sick.
I was like, sick, dude.
Yeah. And you know I mean, it hits like, yeah, it tells a great story. It has a message, but also you know how great a movie is when it is the thing that people refer to when they make another movie. You know, it's like, oh, it's the Empire Strikes Back of this franchise, or like I've heard people be like, it's the Fly of this. It's like the Fly. It's body. I mean, like every time you think about body horror now, you only think about the Fly.
Yeah. Number 7, Blade Runner. But which version do we mean when we say Blade Runner? Because
Blade Runner.
there's at least 8 of them.
Yeah.
No, but which kind?
Oh, which version?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I thought you meant the original or the sequel. I'm like, well, the first one. Honestly, I've only seen what they released in theaters. I've never seen the director's cut.
You've never seen the
I know
actual
everyone
version of
tells
Blade
me
Runner?
it's way better.
What?
Like, without
Oh
the
my
narration
gosh!
and everything.
Yeah, and it's got like it's got like things that you need to know. It's got important things. It's got things that you need to know to watch the new Blade Runner. It's like,
Is that why I was so off, like confused about the sequel?
Yeah.
Probably
That makes a lot of sense.
Probably.
Director's cut for sure is the one that is the top. This is what I think that's what's on our list. It's one of those movies that is always never gonna be the box office hit people want it to be, but people are gonna watch it forever and ever.
Yeah. I mean, you watch this in like film class, and you know, when you're in college, like you're gonna have a friend who's like, "You see Blade Runner, man? I got a copy. We should watch it. Order a pizza."
All film nerds are like, they just carry around their copy.
Hey, man,
hang out?
I got 5. So this is not the director's cut. This is actually like the final cut. So like, here you go. I mean, it's a little weird, but you need to watch the director's cut. I keep that in a box on a pedestal in my room. It doesn't leave.
Number 6 is The Matrix. And, you know, all I got to say about it is, whoa. But actually...
I'm surprised it's 6.
Yeah, well, I placed it as my number 1.
And this is a movie that I thought was going to be on a lot of people's, like most of y'all's list, so I stayed away from it. I didn't want this list to be like The Matrix, just like the who's who of sci-fi.
No.
But The Matrix definitely deserves to be on this list. Should be higher, honestly. I'm sorry that I skewed the list, but
it's okay, because The Matrix is a movie that was both perfectly at the right moment and ahead of its time in terms of like filmmaking, because it's directed by the Wachowskis. Is that how you say?
Yeah, Wachowskis.
I thought it was Wachowskis.
You also have never seen the definitive version of Blade
I've never
Runner,
seen the real version of Blade Runner. I
always thought it was the Wachowskis. That's what I've always heard.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll just say it over again. It's directed by the Wachowskis. I said it that way again. All right. It's directed by the Wachowskis. What is it? Hold on.
I'm pretty sure it's the Wachowskis.
I've never heard Wachowskis. I've heard Wachowskis.
To pronounce the I don't know spell.
Is that you too bad? You can't hear me.
Lana Wachowski.
Okay.
Wachowski. Okay, that's 2 for 2. Well,
hey Zach. So we're never listening to you again.
When have I ever been right?
So it's directed by the Wachowskis, who, are LGBT, and they transitioned after The Matrix. And their movie, The Matrix, is about like the whole things they were personally going through at that moment in their life. It's also about race relations. It's about basically all of the systemic like problems with the American structure of our like class system, like lower class, middle class, upper class, race. It deals with almost every problem that exists in America. It kind of, with the sequels, it doesn't land the answers that well, but it does open an eye to the problems we have in America while also being an awesome
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say it has all that, and plus it's super cool.
This is like Star Wars level stuff to me. You know, it's like George Lucas just takes like philosophy and like religion and this and martial arts and blood and just like combines it into that. I mean, like the Matrix was our Star Wars a little bit because I mean, and everyone went nuts for it. Unfortunately, the sequels are just
Not that.
there's cool stuff.
Cool stuff. Second
Sure.
one is good, but the third is ruins it all entirely. Number 5, we've got Alien. There's almost nothing we could say that would do it.
That hasn't already been said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It created the female archetype that we've seen in almost every single sci-fi movie because of how great Sigourney Weaver is as Ellen Ripley.
So freaking good.
And I would say Aliens, the sequel, is probably, I would put them on the same level.
they're so different, and they're both so like equally great.
yeah, it's like that's what's it's like. You know, Alien for me is more of a horror film, and I think that's why I don't put it on the list or my list. But and Aliens is that sci-fi.
Mhm.
But man, my favorite little like tidbit about Alien is that they wrote like when they wrote the story, everyone was just supposed to be like gender neutral, like all the characters, all the names, and so it like you know there's like Ripley and Dallas, and you had all these. They were just like, okay, let's just cast this movie.
Mhm.
And so like Ripley ends up being like a female, which makes it even cooler that, you know, it's like they weren't really sure who these people were going to be. And they just kind of cast them in the roles, which was awesome. That it's the Alien franchise is an interesting one, but it is,
Yeah.
it's just like, it skyrockets and then just immediately tanks. But this movie, like it's classic. You can't like we said, we've said everything that has already been said.
Number 4 is a movie that, you know, people wouldn't immediately suspect to be on a top 10 sci-fi, but I'm going to say it right now before I say the movie's name. It is a sci-fi movie. And that movie is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That is. It's science fiction.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, they use a machine to go through a guy's like memories, sort of. Like, how's that not sci-fi? I don't understand why that would not count.
Everybody can feel this way about prior relationships, unless you've only ever been in one relationship. Then I guess you don't know how it feels.
Yeah.
But if you've had a bad breakup, you want those memories gone because it just sucks to think about it over and over. And so, and Michel Gondry is just like one of the most inventive filmmakers with like special effects and practical effects that it's just so great.
I'm not hating on this movie. I knew Zach was going to put it on his list, so I didn't put it on mine.
How'd you know?
Get out of here. And number 3 is Star Wars. And I'll let you guys talk about it because I don't care.
Well, JD, behind you have a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
I've got Star Wars stuff here. I got Star Wars stuff there. I mean, I like this. This is a movie that changed the world, Michael. It made sci-fi cool.
Wait, sorry. I have to answer this. Hello? Help? Hello? Yeah. You're telling me Star Wars is bad? Oh,
no.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. I agree.
Oh, is that the bad opinion police?
That was actually George Lucas telling me himself.
Listen. He's like, I've made a mistake, guys.
A $6 billion mistake.
And not only, see, and here's the thing. Here's what I love about Star Wars. Not only does this movie like just make sci-fi just took it to the next level, it also just it's taking everything to the next level. So everything they do with each Star Wars movie is groundbreaking. So not only is it like letting us imagine a science fiction world and a world where like you have like laser swords and cool blasters, like it's actually creating things that are getting us to that point. I don't think we'll ever have a Death Star, but
with that attitude,
we have Space Force. We have Space Force.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
You can hate Star Wars if you want. That's fine. That's your right.
I don't hate it. I just don't care for it. It's a difference.
But you have to give it.
I give it full 100% credit for influencing
all of these movies on the list.
Basically, yes. But there's two realms of science fiction. There's like the true science fiction, like Isaac Asimov, Ray Bradbury stuff. And then there's science fantasy, which is like Star Wars and Dune and John Carter of Mars. And they're both equally important in the science fiction world. I may not like Star Wars, but I understand how important it is to the culture of sci-fi. There, JD, I said it. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm very happy. Thank you.
Number 2 is The Thing. Oof. John Carpenter, soundtrack, body horror,
Gross stuff.
Wilford Brimley, great hats.
Yeah.
Great mullets. I mean,
This movie has everything. It has everything that makes sci-fi amazing. It's everything that makes horror amazing. And it's got everything that makes movies amazing. And it was made still, like, we were still in the Cold War during this time. And, around the time it was made, there's still very much a fear of Russia, infiltrating America. So you play off of that fear, which is still, which is bubbling back up once again. And you just have these, like, thoughts of paranoia and just, oh, man, it's just a great movie. Number 1, I think probably people have figured out what's our number 1 because we haven't mentioned it at all. It's Back to the Future. Just like Star Wars, the movie that influenced an entire generation.
Yep.
and it took Huey Lewis, who was a star, and made him a superstar too. I mean, gosh.
Robert Zemeckis.
I mean, like, look at this, guys. It's just,
What?
What's going on?
Oh, there it is.
I mean, I look at it every day.
But watching this movie as a kid, not only did it make everything about Marty McFly seem cool, even though he was not cool.
Not cool.
I think as this and the sequel, not the third one, this one really, like, put Nike as also with Michael Jordan at the same time. This movie and Michael Jordan put Nike over the top, and now they're just like the unbeatable shoe brand. And it's like, it did that with so many things. It like brought the revival of Pepsi back. It brought the revival of, like, it basically helped launch skateboarding.
Yes.
Like, skateboarding was a cool thing to do, but once this movie hit, it, like, changed the whole landscape of skateboarding.
Playing guitar, being in a band.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Berry had a little comeback.
Yeah, this movie is the reason I love Chuck Berry. But it's like this. It's just so good, and it's like it's the only, for me, one of the only movies that sticks with its actual principle. And again, it's because of the plot. I'm not saying that if another movie would have gone other places, and I'm not saying they even believe this, but it's like, time. It's like, it's a time machine. It's not a time and space machine. So it's like, okay, we're a time machine, and we are going to the same place just 30 years earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a cool original concept too. Like, the writer was like, I was just looking through a yearbook and I thought, what would it be like to hang out with my parents? I just love it. I could talk about it all day, but I won't.
Because it says meeting time remaining 8
minutes. It's just so good. And it just makes you feel warm inside. It makes your tummy feel warm.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. Just watch and feel happy.
I'm okay with this being number 1. Like, when I saw the list that you gave me, I was like, you know what? I do. The top 3 at least are.
When I look back at this list, I wish Matrix is number 1, but I'm not mad that Back to the Future is number 1. I mean,
who would be?
I just think about my list and think, man, there was really only a few. I really just got 3 on here. It's a bummer, but I'm okay with it.
I got Wally on. I'm fine.
Look.
Yeah, well, that's it's a real crime against. You're gonna pay for that crime one day.
You're going to jail. We've called the police on you.
I don't really understand. It's like this, Bridesmaids. You always throw one in here that's just so crazy, and then we have to. And I'm like,
the next time we're gonna do like top 10 comedies, he's gonna put Borat as in them.
Yes, the worst. And the worst part about all of this is, like, I know that Wally's probably a great movie, and I know that Bridesmaids is a good movie. I just don't like it, and now we're showing the world, and now I'm gonna get this hate.
That's my plan.
For not enjoying Bridesmaids or not seeing Wall-E. I'm sorry. I was a high schooler who thought, I don't need to see that robot movie.
Oh man, you were wrong. It's so much. It's a trash robot movie.
Oh, sorry.
Get it right.
Yeah.
Sorry, trash robot.
Un esercito di prole